Hello everyone. Before we begin, I would like to mention that this topic may be sensitive for some people and it is important to approach it with respect and openness. In this video, we will explore the history of the Jewish religion and examine evidence that suggests that Jehovah, the Jewish God, is actually a pagan deity adopted by the Jews and transformed into the supreme God. We will also explore arguments that support the idea that the universe and the concept of supreme consciousness may be a more appropriate divinity than Jehovah. Part 1. The history of the Jewish religion and the adoption of the God Jehovah. We will discuss how the Jewish religion evolved over time and the influence of neighboring religions on its development. We will also examine ancient texts that suggest that Jehovah may have been a pagan god from the Canaanite pantheon in the past. Part 2. Arguments against Jehovah as the Supreme God. We will examine criticisms of the belief in Jehovah and arguments that suggest that there are more suitable deities than him. We will explore the idea that the universe and supreme consciousness may be more appropriate to be considered as God. Part 3. Arguments for the universe and supreme consciousness as divinity. We will discuss the concept of the universe as a living entity and how it could be considered a deity. Part 1. There is archaeological and literary evidence suggesting that neighboring religions, such as the Canaanite religion, influenced the development of Judaism. For example, it is believed that some aspects of Judaism, such as animal sacrifice and the idea of a jealous God, originated from the Canaanite religion. In the Old Testament, it is mentioned that the Jews worshipped other deities, such as Baal and Astarte, before focusing on the worship of Jehovah. Ancient Hebrew texts that have been discovered in recent years have shown that the term Jehovah is actually a mistranslation of the name of the Jewish deity. In addition, the name Jehovah is not mentioned in the oldest Hebrew texts, such as those in the book of Genesis. Part 2. There are critics who suggest that Jehovah is a capricious and violent God. For example, in the Old Testament, Jehovah punishes people with diseases and wars, which seems to be unrealistic and inhumane behavior. Another argument against Jehovah is that belief in him has led to conflicts and wars between different religious groups due to different interpretations of religious texts. Belief in the universe and supreme consciousness may be more appropriate for being considered deities. The universe is a living entity that provides us with everything we need to survive, and supreme consciousness can be considered a divine force that unifies us all. Part 3. The argument that the universe is a deity is based on the idea that it is a living entity that has its own laws and processes. This idea is supported by many religious and philosophical traditions, such as Stoic philosophy and the Hindu concept of Brahman. Belief in supreme consciousness is based on the idea that there is a divine force that governs all things and unites us all in a single consciousness. This idea is supported by many spiritual traditions, such as Buddhism and Gnosticism. Yahweh has been associated with war and fertility, and some sources also associate him with animal fertility. In Canaanite religion, Yahweh would have been an important god, but not a supreme one, and his worship by the Jews can be seen as a reinterpretation of this deity in a more exclusivist way. It is important to mention that there are many sources and differing opinions on this issue, and the exact interpretation of Yahweh's role in Canaanite religion remains a matter of debate among scholars. It is true that in some old texts of Jewish religion, Yahweh is described as the son of El, an important god in the Canaanite pantheon. This association is mentioned in the book of Isaiah and in Psalms, as well as in other texts from the Levant region. In these texts, Yahweh is seen as a god subordinate to El, but over time, he became a central figure in Jewish religion. However, in Deuteronomy 32 verses 8-9, Yahweh is not mentioned as being the son of El, but is presented as the highest and the heir of the nations. This change in the interpretation of Yahweh can be seen as an attempt by the Jews to make Yahweh more important and central in their religion than he was seen in Canaanite tradition. In this sense, the elimination of the mention of Yahweh as the son of El can be seen as a reinterpretation of his relationship with the other gods in the Canaanite pantheon. It is important to mention that there are different opinions regarding the interpretation of Deuteronomy 32 verses 8 to 9 and the nature of the relationship between Yahweh and El in Canaanite religion. Some sources suggest that Yahweh was originally seen as a regional god, and his association with El was a later attempt to make him more important and central in Jewish religion. Others suggest that Yahweh was always seen as an important god in the Canaanite pantheon, and his mention as the son of El was just one of the many associations he had within this religious tradition. There is a significant difference between the image of God presented in the Old Testament and that of the New Testament. In the Old Testament, God is often described as a vengeful and capricious God who harshly punishes sin and demonstrates his power through the destruction of his enemies. In some parts of the Old Testament, he is described as a god of war and destruction, who demands animal sacrifices and is to be respected through rituals and strict laws. In contrast, in the New Testament, God is presented as a God of love and mercy, who offers salvation through faith in Jesus Christ and encourages people to love and forgive one another. The New Testament focuses more on the personal relationship between people and God and the importance of correct moral behavior in everyday life. In this new vision, God is no longer presented as a capricious and distant God, but as a loving Father who seeks to help his children. This change in the view of God can be partly explained by the historical development of Jewish and Christian religions, as well as the influence of Greek thinkers and ancient Greek philosophy on early Christianity. In this new perspective, Christianity brought a radical change in the way people understand their relationship with the divine and opened the way for a more personal and loving view of God. In conclusion, it is important to remember that religion and faith are sensitive and personal subjects, and their interpretation and understanding can vary depending on tradition, culture, and personal experience. Therefore, it is important to approach these topics with respect and be open to different perspectives and opinions. Everyone has the right to form their own opinion and belief, and this video has presented only a few of them. You can find other similar and interesting videos right here on the final screen and on the links in the description. Thank you for watching and see you next time.